Do you think I have a reason? Dad, come on, come on.
Step out on the car. Out on the car. Get on the ground. Get on the ground now. Stop resisting. Stop resisting.
Hey, yeah, don't just start. When have I ever resisted?
Just relax.
That video looks horrible. It's worse than you think. I'm going to explain it. My name is Attorney Steven Stubbs. I'm an attorney in Las Vegas, Nevada. And this is absolutely horrible. Horrible. Because on February 28, 2016, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department decided they were going to saturate an area and do proactive stops. Now, that's not my word. That's Lieutenant Connell's word. That's what he called it. That they saturated the area with multiple officers and they wanted to do proactive stops. What does that mean? That means they're pulling over anybody for anything that they can find, usually traffic, and then they try to find something else. They're actively looking to find some illegal activity and arrest people for it. Oh, and they didn't saturate my neighborhood. They didn't saturate my neighborhood, which is actually mostly white people. They decided to go to one of the poorest black neighborhoods in Las Vegas, and they decided to saturate the area, and they decided to do these proactive stops. Does that sound wrong to anyone else? Now, NRS 171123, it's very important. NRS 171123 is probably the most important law for a police officer to know, and it's one of the most misunderstood laws with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. It says when you can detain somebody and when that person has to identify themselves, which is only after they are being detained. Okay? So, if a police officer has individual reasonable suspicion that somebody has committed a crime, is now committing a crime, or is about to commit a crime, one of those three things. If there is reasonable suspicion that they have, are now, or are about to commit a crime, then that person is allowed to be detained. Now, if that person is detained, and only if, then that person must identify themselves. And there's a United States Supreme Court case called Hiibel, H-I-I-B-E-L, Hiibel, where the United States Supreme Court interpreted the Nevada duty to identify statute and clearly stated that, number one, it's constitutional, but it's constitutional because it was limited. And what does it say? It says that a person is never required to produce identification. They're never required to give a driver's license, a state-issued ID. They're never required to do any of that. That's what Hiibel says. Now, this is an interesting situation to where there is a driver and a passenger. They were pulled over for speeding. There is reasonable suspicion that somebody committed a crime. Guess who that person wasn't? The passenger. The passenger wasn't speeding. There was no probable cause whatsoever for that passenger. There was no reason to believe that he had committed a crime, was now committing a crime, or would commit a crime. Therefore, under Nevada law and under Hiibel, a United States Supreme Court case, that person is not required to identify themselves. So what happened? The police officer said, "Give me your ID." He said, "Nope, I don't think that's right. Nope, I don't have to give you my ID." And they lost their cool. And they got mad. And they demanded that he give ID. They demanded that he identify himself. Again, no reasonable suspicion. And my client, Mr. Galloway, stood his ground, hands in the air, being completely safe, said, "Nope, you don't have any probable cause on me. You got nothing on me. I don't have to identify myself."
I would like to record this.
I'm not yelling at you. I'm not yelling at you.
I would like to let you know that you are being recorded right now.
If you're speeding up to catch up with my speed, you're going to go faster to catch up with my speed. So that right there, first and foremost, is no regard in saying what speed I was going.
For a long time.
You were not behind us
for a long time. We just got... Okay, where did you come behind us?
Okay, so look, I'm not going to argue with you, all right?
It's not an argument. It's a question. It's a question. This is not an argument. Because first and foremost, I'm asking you, if you're behind us a long time, where did you get behind us? What street did you get behind us?
Passenger, just use our own car. You won't get your registration. You won't get your registration on the car.
You know my car's registered. You ran the plates already. You know this car's registered and it's good. You know this car is registered. So why you still asking for it? Fuck.
Oh, we finna have 20 cars out here.
Of course.
Funny. It's funny because nobody's done nothing. This is just a show. This is a parade. That's all it is.
Man, if you get out and you handle business like we want you to, we'll get you guys out of here. However,
whatever. I don't have to do that. I know my rights.
Okay, well, in the state of Nevada, I don't know where you know your rights.
Well, where's your supervisor at? I requested a supervisor and I need him here.
Well, that's fine, but hear me out.
And that's my right.
Okay.
Wow.
You don't have a right to have a supervisor.
Wow.
Yes, I do have a right to have a supervisor. Yes, I do. I have a right to request a supervisor.
The keys are right here.
I have a right to request a supervisor.
Oh, wait.
You cannot take them. Why are you taking my keys? This is not your property. I do not consent to no search or seizure at all. Why are you taking my keys?
I'm not done with this.
Why are you taking my keys? I did not request. I do not consent to no search or no seizure at all.
Listen to me, man.
I know my listen to me.
No,
I know my rights.
Listen to you.
I'm a
Out
passenger.
of this car and handcuffed and taken down to jail.
Well, if you want to do that, then who gives a fuck? I don't give a fuck. I didn't do that. You put him over, not me.
Okay. Well,
you have no right to ask me any questions.
The Supreme Court says we have the right to pull you.
No, you do not have. You put him over, not me.
It doesn't matter.
You put him over, not me. I committed no crime. You have no reason to subject me to no search or seizure at all. I've committed no crime. This is not a search in first state at all.
Step out. Come on out, man.
This side block guy.
Come on, step out and pull you out. Easy on him, he's been cool. Just walk back, cool. Make sure he doesn't have any guns on him.
Can you unlock it?
Yeah, it's unlocked.
No.
Where's the gun?
Why are you unlocking my car? Why are you unlocking my car?
Get out of the vehicle.
I would like to have a supervisor here.
Or you can be
I would like to have a supervisor here.
Man. I'm the lieutenant.
Then why are you pulling me out of my car? And I have done nothing wrong. I have not been pulled over. I have not committed no law. Do you have a reason to think I've committed a crime?
I'm gonna make you.
Do you think I have a reason? Do you think I have a reason that I've committed a crime?
Step out of the car. Out of the car. Get on the ground. Get on the ground now. Stop resisting. Stop resisting.
Hey, y'all don't start. When have I ever resisted?
Just relax.
What have I done?
369 DC control.
I have not done nothing wrong. Nothing.
Oh yeah, you're obstructing right now, sir.
Why am I obstructing?
You're deliberately delaying and hindering an investigation, sir. That's obstruction.
I'm exercising my human rights.
Well, your human rights are very fine and well, sir. The Nevada state law says that you cannot obstruct, delay, or
How about delayed y'all from doing anything?
Okay, so we're going to stand you up and make sure there's no
How about delayed y'all from doing anything?
All right.
I've never delayed y'all from doing anything. I know my rights.
This is so you can use that as a weapon.
Use what as a weapon?
Use that.
My wallet? Are you kidding me? Alright. I'm an upstanding citizen.
Now, some people might say, why didn't you just go along with it, right? Why don't you just cooperate with the police? See, Mr. Galloway has some life experiences that make it so that he doesn't exactly trust police. He doesn't hate them. He has nothing against them. He just doesn't trust them. He doesn't trust his own safety. Because when he was in his early 20s and he was living in Southern California, at the time when the Los Angeles Police Department was the most corrupt of any police department ever. This is the time of the O.J. Simpson. This is the time of Rodney King. All kinds of things are happening. Racial profiling everywhere. He was a young man. He was walking down the street and he was arrested. Now, why was he arrested? A black man had robbed a store, and that was the description they had. And he was the closest one when the police got there. So they arrested him and he was put in jail wrongly. Now, they ended up releasing him because they found the guy, and it wasn't him. But him simply being black and being the closest person to a store that was robbed made it so that he was arrested and charged with felonies until they found the right guy and they dismissed all the charges. He has no criminal record, none whatsoever. He actually has taken himself out of poverty in Los Angeles. He came to Nevada and he became a union man. He's a part-time DJ. He's a full-time union man. He deals with a lot of youth. He sponsors kids in youth football programs, and he's a mentor to kids. He's a good guy. He lives within his means. He pays his bills. And yeah, he doesn't live in the best neighborhood, but he does the very best that he can. He's a good man. A good man. So when he's pulled over and they start demanding his identification, and he knows his rights, in fact, he knew more than every police officer there. But he knew his rights, and he stood his ground. And what happened? He got arrested. He got arrested, and then they tried to make up a marijuana charge. They tried to make it up. And because they were trying to make up the marijuana charge to try to make themselves look better, because frankly they looked pretty bad, he was arrested specifically so that they could strip search him. A demeaning and degrading strip search to where he was arrested. He was told that he had to strip naked. They made him bend over. They made him spread his cheeks. They searched his asshole. They then made him move around his nutsack, and they searched that too. Why? Because they were trying to find weed that wasn't there, because he doesn't smoke any and he doesn't have any. So now that Mr. Galloway has been taken from his car, the police get to do what they really wanted to do in the very beginning. They wanted to search his car and try to find something that he did wrong. Because remember, these are proactive stops. These are stops where police are saturated so they can pull some people over and try to find something illegal that these people might have done. So they pull them away. Now, because they're going to arrest them, of course, they get to inventory the car. Now, they're not supposed to actually do any extensive searching without a search warrant, but they're allowed to inventory what's in the car. The police didn't do that right either. But anyway, they go in. Now, there's two officers. One officer sticks his nose right into the car and says, "I smell weed." He proclaims it. He smells weed. The other officer questions him because he doesn't smell the weed. But he said, "Nope, I smell weed."
Okay. It smells like weed in here, dude.
Does it smell like weed?
Yeah.
So they leave, and a minute later, they come back with somebody else, and they don't smell weed anymore. And the officer is saying, "Oh, do you know what? It's aired out."
The more I air it out, the less I smell it.
Yeah. That's the thing. If we needed canine, we would have had to shut all the doors.
It's aired out, so we're going to search for this weed, right? We're going to search for it because they're trying to find something to pin on Mr. Galloway because they already arrested him and they wrongfully arrested him. They're trying to find something, so they got to find something. They just got to. In fact, it's really interesting because they go through, they don't find any weed, by the way. They find nothing, but they search for a long, long time. And at one point, one of the officers actually says he doubted he ever smelled it in the first place.
Actually, we need that just to kind of like justify the thing. We smelled it. It's just a matter of go place. Searching good. No doubt we smelled it.
They don't know there's a recording happening. Because here's something interesting. Mr. Galloway, because he wanted to protect his rights, went and bought one of those little GoPro cameras. And he put it on his dashboard just in case he was ever in a situation where he was talking with police and the police were less than honest and had less than pristine integrity. And he videotaped it. And they didn't realize the video was going. And so they talked a lot. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that fun? Guess what they said? They admitted that they didn't smell the weed. One officer says he doubted he smelled the weed.
No doubt we smelled it.
Lieutenant Connell came in and proclaimed he didn't smell any weed either.
I don't smell it in the car. I think I got a big ass nose too.
After they searched the whole place, they found nothing. Oh, wait. They did find something. They found a little flake that they thought might be green. They were so excited too They found a flake. And they specifically said, when they found the flake, that actually we need that. We're saying that we smelled it. It's just a matter of searching good.
Hey, green resin. See a little green flake in there?
Yeah. Yep. Alright, thanks. Do we find some notes? I think there might be like a little residue on the side. Actually, we need that just to kind of like justify what you're saying, because we smell that it's just a matter of go like searching good.
That's what they said. They found a little green flake. That flake could have been anything. They didn't even impound it into evidence. They didn't test it. They didn't do any of that stuff. But they found a little green flake and they proclaimed, quote, actually, we need that. We are saying that we smelled it. That's just a matter of searching good. Do you know what else they said? They said, quote, do what you gotta do because we gotta find something.
Well, yeah. Do what you gotta do because we gotta find something.
They're searching the car. They're not finding anything. And they say, quote, do what you gotta do because we gotta find something. 6 minutes after they started searching, 6 minutes, they admit they didn't smell it anymore. And I'm sorry, I don't think they smelled it in the first place. I just don't think it happened. Okay. I think these police officers were trying to do something. And instead of taking the evidence as it came, they decided they were going to try to bolster their case. It tells you a lot. Do what you gotta do because we gotta find something. This is wrong. What these officers have done is wrong. It's wrong that they didn't know the law or didn't care, one of the two. It's wrong that they don't know the Hiibel case, that they don't understand NRS 171123. It's wrong that they didn't know that Mr. Galloway had no legal right, or excuse me, had no legal obligation to identify himself. You know, and he has good reason to exercise his constitutional rights. He's an American, for one. And for another, he has some life experiences that no one else has had. And that's tough. And it makes you question, and it makes you want to know the law. Mr. Galloway knew the law better than any of them. And he was right. But that didn't stop them from arresting him. That didn't stop them from trying to find weed charges. And that didn't stop Lieutenant Connell from saying specifically, I don't smell it in the car. I've got a big-ass nose, too. So I say we arrest his ass and strip him.
I don't smell it in the car.
I think
I got a big-ass nose, too.
So, I
Let me
say
go sniff his
we
crotch.
arrest his ass and
Let me go sniff
strip
his
him.
crotch.
That's the leader. That's Lieutenant Connell. So I say, we don't smell anything, so I say we arrest his ass and strip him. And they arrested him, and they subjected him to a degrading strip search to where they made him spread his cheeks, and they searched his asshole. And then they made him move around his nutsack so they could search all around there too. He didn't do anything wrong.